And now for today's Spotlight. We're days away from the start of 2024, and looking back, wow, we have seen a lot of history in Congress this year. For the first time since the Founding Fathers created the very idea of the United States Congress, we saw a Speaker of the House ousted from his job. So instead of Kevin McCarthy, Speaker Kevin McCarthy, we now have Speaker Mike Johnson. Then there was George Santos. In his way, he is historic too, the first member of Congress since the Civil War era to be expelled from the House without having first been convicted of a crime. So lots of history in there, but what were the results? In 2021, lawmakers passed 81 laws. You see it on your screen. In 2023, in that same period, Congress will have passed only 27 laws. So is this Congress one of the most unproductive in history? We take that question right back to our panel, Mike, Julie, Rachel, and Barbara. Barbara, first question is for you, as I assumed you wanted it to be. As a former member of Congress, how would you grade your former colleagues?
Well, listen, you can't give them overall a great grade, but let me point out, it's the minority of Republicans, the Freedom Caucus, that is causing the majority of Republicans want to do something on Ukraine, want to do something on Israel, would like to get sensible border reform, but that minority of the Freedom Caucus is controlling everything, and they're the ones that have brought it to a standstill and made them the do-nothing Congress and made them so unproductive and is causing them to have this bad reputation. So even though you have somebody like a Mike McCall who wants to, get something done on Ukraine, and others who want to get these solutions, others who didn't want to, get rid of the speaker, you have this minority who doesn't care if they shut down Congress, which they might do in January, and they're the ones who are responsible for this.
Well, you just led me right into my next question to Rachel, which is this Congress, it narrowly avoided a debt crisis. They're still in the middle, as Barbara just mentioned, of trying to figure out how to fully fund the government. They got deadlines in January, deadlines in February. Recently, Senator Tommy Tuberville of Alabama was holding up hundreds of military nominations. He only just recently caved. So can you give us some sense of everything that these lawmakers, while all of that has played out, have put off and what they now have to focus on in January?
Well, it's a long list, Jay, as you know. They've been very productive in GOP infighting, not so much in doing the people's business. I mean, look, when we come to January, they're going to have a long to-do list in front of me. Forgive me as I glance down. I'm just looking at some of these. Foreign surveillance, reauthorizing FISA and sort of our defense and national security to be able to sort of root out terrorism that is trying to attack the country. Food nutrition programs for low-income families is running out of money. The Federal Aviation Administration needs to be reauthorized. This is important for like consumer protections, things like air traffic controllers and making sure that your flights aren't delayed. Things like border security, spending bills, aid to Ukraine and Israel. And yeah, I mean it's been tough, and part of it is because Republicans have a very slim majority in the House and they're fractured right now. The party is sort of divided between a populist Trump wing and traditional Republicans, so they can't really get together. And then also bipartisanship now is sort of seen as this dirty word. I mean, I think about the Republicans who worked with Democrats on the infrastructure bill. They were attacked by Donald Trump in their own party. So what incentive do they have to actually work across the aisle right now?
I was looking down, so forgive me if you're watching at home, because I was going through your list and checking it against my list to see if I had missed anything. So thank you for that. But speaking of the infrastructure bill, Julie, President Biden got some big pieces of legislation through Congress, including that infrastructure bill, but he did it when Democrats were largely in control of both chambers. That is not the case anymore. So do you think he can fundamentally work with this Congress, or is there just too much bad blood there between the White House and House Republicans?
I don't think the onus should be on him to work with this Congress. I think this Congress, and especially the Republicans in the House, need to get their act together and work with each other first. I mean, as Rachel pointed out, they're not even capable of working, Barbara pointed out, they're not even capable of working with each other, never mind across the aisle. And look, I might not have agreed with Newt Gingrich or John Boehner or Paul Ryan, but you did have a governable Republican House majority in previous years and in previous decades. The problem is they are ungovernable right now. They don't have a speaker who is able to govern all of them. You have people who may be leaning, but nevertheless are caving into the Freedom Caucus party of their coalition. And so as a result, how in the world are they able to work with the White House when they can't work with each other?
Mike, if you meet me in the halls of the Capitol, you will often hear me say this statistic. Rachel has heard me say this, I believe. 72% of Americans have an unfavorable view of Congress. That's from a Pew Research poll. It varies, but it's usually in the 70s. Because of that, do you think Congress can ever turn that around? And what do you think average Americans want to see from Congress?
I don't know if they can turn around the way that Congress conducts its business and governance as of today. I think part of that data number that you pointed out, Jay, is because of what you and Rachel have outlined of all the checklist of issues that are before this Congress. I just want to add one to that, which is tech policy. We're talking about AI, but this Congress still hasn't been able to address data privacy before we could even get to artificial intelligence. And I believe that it's too consequential of the times that we're in right now. Nuance is so strong with these issues that it's going to take a new type of governance in order to get process, flow, and logistics and strategy. It's almost to the point now where I feel like they need strategic consultants to come in and to help them prioritize, help them do strategy. But my concern with that, Joe, is that Jay, partisan is so strong, I don't know if we can even get to process.
I mean, yeah, weren't we supposed to pass AI legislation in the next few months? That's what Chuck Schumer wants to do, but you're right. I mean, we got priorities. Anyway, Mike, Barbara, Julie, Rachel, thank you all. Stick around.
Hi, everyone. George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.